Alright, thanks. Welcome back. I'm Mike the Pan Man with Townecraft Cookware. A lot of people call me Mike the Pan Man. My name's Mike Pugh. Been with Townecraft about 18 years. Folks, I've looked at every kind of cookware that I can get my hands on around the world. Townecraft is the best. Not close to the best. Everybody else wants to be us, okay? Townecraft is the best cookware in the world. You can find us at towncraft.net. My website is www.mikethepanman.com. Very, very easy to find. Not Mike the Pot Man. That's a different deal. MikeThePanman.com. Okay, and we're going to show you, folks, how to make some cornbread. Okay, now simply spray a little bit of Pam in your omelet pan. Now, if you don't have the omelet pan, maybe you've got a 9-inch skillet. That works. Of course, the slope sides here really helps out as far as getting it out of the pan. We'll show you that in just a few minutes. So, put it on, spray a little Pam in there. Turn it on medium, okay? One of the rhymes for Townecraft is medium to low is all you need to know. Another one is preheat for meat, and we'll show you that in just a few minutes. Simply take a mixing bowl. We're going to show you some great cornbread. Now, since we're doing this, I don't mind sharing my personal recipe for cornbread. Great cornbread, okay? It is simply Martha White buttermilk cornmeal mix, 1 egg, and 2/3 cup of skim milk. Now that sounds funny, it sounds easy, but if you forget it, it's right on the back of the bag. But I call it my personal recipe because I paid for the bag, okay? And I figure if I'm going to pay for the bag, it's my recipe now. But your recipe would work. Townecraft's just really easy to use, and that's an easy recipe. So what I've got here is a cup of Martha White buttermilk cornmeal mix, 1 egg, and 2/3 cup of skim milk, okay? So use that. Again, your recipe would work. Your recipe is probably 10 times better than mine. Mine's just easy, okay? So while we're preheating the pan over here, we're going to let that rise for just a minute. I'm going to come back over here, folks. This is our Townecraft. This is our smallest saucepan. It's a 1.5 quart saucepan. First of all, just having that sitting on your stove makes you look like a cook, right? It's just a great looking pan. And it's the thickest, heaviest pan in the world. 3 levels of metal here, 2 here, stainless steel, carbon steel, and stainless steel up here. A thick plate of heat conducting alloy capped with another plate of stainless here. Works on any kind of stove, over your grill. Works on the new magnetic induction stoves that are becoming so popular. And what it does is it spreads heat around, okay? A lot of people call Townecraft waterless cookware. You know, we show people how to cook without water. Minimum moisture method of cooking, as little water as absolutely possible. And in doing that, what we do is simply rinse our vegetables off and pour the water back off, okay? I'm going to show you what I mean by that in just a minute. But with our pans, what happens is, if you're going to cook without water, you have to have a pan that will do 2 things. A lot of people say, well, I've got that same stuff. But if your pan doesn't do these 2 things, you don't have it, okay? Townecraft it's top of the line. Again, it's the best there is. Let me show you what happens. Your pan has to be able to do 2 things. It has to move heat around, and it has to pull a vacuum, okay? You know, you look in most pans, you'll see heat rings in here. Whatever the pattern is on your stove, it's what you see because it burns here, it burns inside, it burns your food. And so what we do is we have made it to where you don't have to do that. You don't have to put the water in it, stir and all that, because when the heat hits our pan, instead of going through to the food, it goes across that thick plate and it spreads the heat around. Now, Townecraft's the only company in the world that rolls the edges, okay? Now that rolled edge kind of fits in a groove, and what you do is turn your food on medium, and when it steams, you turn it to low. When you do that, the pan lid pulls a vacuum, and then it cooks up and down and in and out and all the way around. So you don't have to stir your food. Okay, so just put it in. It's completely even heat all the way around. Matter of fact, we're going to show you that with a bag of carrots here, okay? And boy, you talk about convenience. Townecraft is so convenient. You can use canned vegetables, produce vegetables, frozen vegetables, just anything you want to, okay? And let me show you how this works. Simply put your vegetables in there like that. Run a little bit of water in there, rinse them off, and then pour the water right back off. Okay, and when you do that, you're getting rid of all that water so that these can cook in their own juices. So what we're going to do here is simply put it on the eye and turn it on medium. Okay, all right, back over here. It's time. Our pan is preheated up. Matter of fact, we're getting it a little warm there, so turn that down a little bit. We're going to go ahead and put our cornbread in. And we're going to cook our cornbread right here on top of the stove in just a few minutes, okay? Now, we don't time the cornbread, but I'm going to look at my clock over here. It says 7:09. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because I'll show you in just a few moments how long it took to cook this cornbread. You don't have to time it, but you got to, just kind of keep an eye on it. But I want to show you at home there how long it takes to cook our cornbread on top of the stove. Typically, Townecraft is going to cook your cornbread in the omelet pan on top of the stove faster than you could even preheat your oven at home, okay? Which shows you energy savings. Matter of fact, Georgia Power, one of the largest power companies in the nation, just reported that every time you turn on the oven, you turn on the equivalent of 66 100-watt bulbs. Folks, that's a tremendous amount of energy. But you could do something here. You could bake your chicken. Right now we're baking a pizza. You could bake a cake or anything you want. And here, generally in about half the time, on medium or even as low as simmer in half the time. So you're using that much space. Instead of using this much space at 350 degrees, you're using this much space in generally half the time on simmer, okay? All right, it's time for us to get our pizza out. The timer's just about to go off. We're going to get our pizza out. We're going to show you how fabulous this pizza looks. Now again, folks, tonight we're just simply cooking a cheese pizza, but any kind of toppings you want on your pizzas certainly would work, okay? There's our timer. So let me get a spatula here. We're going to show you a fabulous pizza. We're going to show you how beautiful it is. Get a good shot of that, Brittany. How's that look?
Delicious.
Now look at the crust. See how beautiful the crust is? Good and crispy.
Even all the way around.
And folks, there you go. You're looking at a $2 pizza done in 13 minutes on top of the stove. So we're saving time and money and health. And that's the three things we want to show you on our demonstrations, is saving time, money, and health. Okay? Now back over here to the electric skillet, folks, we're simply going to take a piece of, or a paper towel. Now we had sprayed this with Pam before we put the crust in, right? Do you remember that? And so what we're doing now is just wiping it dry, because the next thing we cook does not require a spray. So we're wiping it dry. You spray your pans for baking or eggs. Not bacon and eggs, baking or eggs, okay? So that was at 325, and now I've bumped it on up to 400 degrees. The control here has a preheat light and all that sort of stuff. You don't have to show it, but has a preheat light, so we bump it on up to 400. When that light kicks off, folks, we're going to throw some chicken in there and show you great, crispy, crunchy, southern fried chicken with not a drop of grease.